Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Kirong. I'm the Assistant Director of the Center for Writing and Academic Success. And today in this video, I will be walking you through how to use the Center's Canvas shell, as well as how to enroll. To start, to enroll in the Canvas shell, if you haven't already, all you need to do is go to our webpage in the community pages, which could be accessed at community.saybrook.edu/writing center. Once you're here, all you need to do is go to additional resources and click on CWAS Canvas Shell Enrollment. This will then automatically direct you to your Canvas, and it will ask you to enroll in the course. Now, because I'm already enrolled in the course, it's just telling me to go to the course. But if you have not yet enrolled, it will say something different. It will say something along the lines of like enroll in the course. So because I'm already enrolled, I will just go to the course and we can look at what we can find. So essentially, our Canvas shell hosts a lot of different resources for supporting students in developing writing. So there's a lot of different templates and PDFs and recordings of workshops and webinars, whatever it is that we feel will help guide students through the process of developing their writing. Now, a lot of these resources are also available in our writing tips and tools section of our webpage, and we are working on kind of simplifying the Canvas shell to essentially house those things that cannot be housed on the webpage. So for now, it feels like there might be a lot of repetition between the Canvas shell and the webpage. We are working on kind of lowering that. But for now, this is what you can expect to see in the Canvas shell. Now, because we have a lot of resources in the web page, and we encourage you to get used to the web page over the Canvas shell, I'm only going to focus on a few key components of the Canvas shell, and I'm going to kind of put to the side any of the other components that are already available in the web page. So the first component that I kind of want to highlight, and it is by far the most common reason why students access our Canvas shell, we have a Turnitin Trial Submission available in the Canvas shell. Now, if you are not yet familiar with Turnitin, essentially all Turnitin is, it's a algorithm program that your papers will automatically get filtered through if your instructor has that set up in your coursework. Most instructors do have it set up that the papers will go through Turnitin. What Turnitin does is it will check your document that you have submitted for the assignment, and it checks the assignment with anything else that is in its database. So most of the things that are in the database are documents that are available online, as well as other papers that have been submitted within the system. Once it compares those two things, it will check and see what the similarities are between what you have submitted and what's in its database. This is basically how instructors and students can see if the document has potential plagiarism. Now, I'm going to preface this. A high similarity does not necessarily in and of itself mean that plagiarism is happening. In the same way, low similarity does not necessarily mean that no plagiarism has happened. It could be that someone wrote an assignment and forgot to include citations, even though they were paraphrasing. So there are exceptions, but it is a good guide and a good framework for being able to check and see how those things are working. So that being said, some instructors, not all, but some instructors will require that the assignments that are submitted be within a certain percentage. What the Turnitin Trial Submission allows people to do is to submit a document so that they can access their similarity score. And from that, they can determine whether or not they need to make revisions to their document before submitting it to the instructor or to the course, and for the grade. So this is really helpful, especially because, as I mentioned, Turnitin will compare to documents that are already in the system. So if you submit an assignment to your instructor and you end up with a higher similarity maybe than what they're wanting, then you go to resubmit the assignment. Depending on how things are set up, you might encounter some problems. So you might notice that before you only had, I don't know, we'll say a 20% similarity score, and then you resubmit and it jumps to 100. Well, that's because your previous submission is in the system. So it's comparing itself to your previous submission. So that's why we have this, is so that you can kind of avoid any of those complications, and you don't have to deal with like tinkering around within the course with your instructor. You can resubmit to this trial submission as many times as you want. It won't compare it to previous submissions, and you will be good to go. So to access the Turnitin trial submission, you have a couple of options. It's over here on the left-hand side. In addition, if you scroll down, there's also a link here for Turnitin trial submissions. But I will go ahead and I will click here. Once you access this, it will give you the step-by-step instructions. When submitting a document to the Turnitin trial submission, please keep in mind that it is not an instantaneous thing. It takes a while for the computer to make those comparisons. So depending on the length of the document, it might take 10 or 15 minutes, but I think it goes up to as long as 24 hours. So if you have a large dissertation, for example, that is, 60 to 100 pages long, you might want to factor in having to wait a little bit longer for the algorithm to make those comparisons. We do have step-by-step instructions, as well as some tools for being able to interpret your similarity report. But essentially all you need to know is that in order to submit the assignment, or to submit using the trial submission, you're basically submitting like you would an assignment. So you would select new attempt, you would upload the file that you want to assign, and then select, actually you need to agree, and then select submit. I'm not going to do this, but for now, all you really need to know is that's how you would upload the assignment. After you wait, however long before the report is ready, you can access your submission over here by going back into the Turnitin trial submission, and you can see here that I had this document selected. You can then look at submission details, and you can see here the similarity score just happened to be 0% for this. Essentially, this document is just an outline, but this is where you would go to access your similarity report. When we go back here, there are resources for interpreting your originality report available here. And when we go back actually to our center's website, we also have the Turnitin policy and plagiarism overview here. So if you need help with interpreting your similarity report or making changes, this is a good spot to go for any questions that you might have. Additionally, this is also something that you could easily cover with a writing coach if you are interested in working with a writing coach in making your revisions. You could show them your similarity report. All right, so going back to our homepage for the Canvas shell, Another thing that I would like to bring to your attention is that we do have a module that has recordings of previous events. So all these other modules are actually kind of reflected already in our webpage, in the writing tips and tools section of our webpage. But when you go to other tools and resources, you will see all the different departments at Saybrook. Here we go. Should be here. Other writing resources. So section 8, other writing resources. We have housed within here recordings of workshops that we've had in the past. So for example, in July, we had a time-saving tips for Microsoft Word. You can access and view the recording here, as well as download any templates or any documents that were provided to participants during the workshop. Breakout rooms, of course, were never recorded. Okay, so that is kind of what you need to know for our Canvas shell. And we thank you for taking the time to watch this video. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at sbwritingcenter@saybrook.edu, and that's available over here on our webpage. All right, thank you so much, and I hope that this was helpful. Have a great day.